worse than what it was when we started out.
Well, Adrienne, I want to play a little devil's advocate because a lot of hairdressers now are requesting that their customers come with their hair already washed.
If they're a licensed cosmetologist and they're requesting that you come to get your hair done already washed, it's illegal. That is illegal.
Welcome to season 5 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, where we interview individuals that are basking in the lane they have created. To keep up with all things BYOK, visit our website at beyourownkind.com. While there, stop by the BYOK shop to grab our merch to add daily inspiration to your life. BYOK has also created a Facebook group that offers giveaways, business advice, and lots of laughs, and most importantly, sisterhood. Have time for a chat or to just get acquainted with your girl? Go to our site and click under bookings to set up a 30-minute coffee chat. Be sure to tune into the BYOK 2 Cents Live every Wednesday at 9:20 Central Standard Time on the BYOK platform YouTube channel, or you can listen to us on Fluent Radio at www.fluentradio.com. Last but not least, if you love our content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our episodes. Or if you feel so inclined, send a donation to our PayPal at paypal.me/BYOK24. Thank you for rocking with us each season and enjoy the episode. Hi, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. How's your day going so far?
So far, so good. It's been busy, but that's expected of this life. You just keep running, you know. You just keep doing what you got to do and make it through the day. Yeah.
I love that. Stop for what, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we don't think about it, but we have to schedule our rest time just like we schedule everything else. We have to put that as part of our life. This is what we're doing. And if this is what we're doing, when do you plan to rest?
Right.
You know, and that's it takes such a toll on your nervous system, on everything that happens with the body. Is a lot of it is depicted upon your diet and your rest, your rest routine. And way too many times we are not resting. And when the body is unrested, it throws off all these different other chemical mixes in the body, fight or flight, and all of that, and we end up with issues. So I'm a big advocate for get your rest.
I love that. And the funny thing about that is the body tell you it's tired. Aches and pains, and you're nodding, and like the body will say, "Yo, I'm tired," and we keep pushing past.
And we override our body because the mind is stronger than the body. Thank God for that, because if we're in a bad situation, at least we know our mind will push our bodies past what we thought was our breaking point. And so it's necessary at times, but it should not be a lifestyle. And at this point, it's become a lifestyle for a lot of us. And with me being in the industry of hair, I see the effects that it has on people, their stress levels. They have alopecia areata. They have thinning hair because the body is using all the nutrients just to survive. And even when we are tired, we do stress eating, and most of the time stress eating is quick food, no nutrition, just something to keep us going. And that along with the stress or the lack of rest, that sends us in a whole nother direction. And we wonder, how do we keep ending up with these situations? But I was listening to a doctor, and they were talking about the build up of fluids in the body, and we don't realize it. For a lot of people, they don't realize, like our scalps, it also has a place where fluids build up in our scalp. Anything that goes in the body comes out in the hair. And the sad part about it is most people don't really realize that what happens is whatever is going on in your body, your hair is going to get the chemical makeup of it. And so if you're stressed, your hair follicles, they close down. The hair grows out of a vulva. And the more stress you have, the tighter your scalp becomes. And people don't understand the relevance of why your hair gets thin or falls out, because that vulva the hair is only going to come through there if there's some space. Because hair, when it's growing, it's soft. It doesn't harden until it hits the air.
Mm-hmm.
So as it comes out, if you're stressed and your scalp is tight, the thinner your hair will become.
And I think that's something, that's why we're meeting today, so that you can, or you're interviewing today, so we can get into hair 101 and things that we don't really know, and like maybe to squash some of the myths about hair. But before we get into that, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. My name is Adraine. I have been in cosmetology now for 30 years. I have seen all the trends, from the Anita Baker haircut all the way through the pinups and the rolls and the hairspray, and now everybody's going into what they call protective styling. So out of my 30 years of being in the business, I've studied trichology, I've studied cosmetology, and a lot of people think that as a cosmetologist, all we study is how to style hair. But we actually have to study anatomy, chemistry, diseases, all the different makeups of the body, And so a lot of people just look at us and think, oh, you just know how to do hair. We literally, at some point, sometimes actually have to work hand in hand with doctors just to keep a client from becoming completely bald. So we, like I said, we study in depthly, and we never stop studying. So with us, we have the same practices that you have for nurses, doctors. We have to have continuous education hours. We have to do this. We have to, in order to become re-licensed and to renew our license, we have to keep studying. We have to because hair trends have changed so dramatically over the years that a lot of people, if they haven't kept up, because the interesting thing about that was, up until 2 years ago, if you had your license for 25 years, you didn't have to take continuous education hours. And they found that a lot of the techniques that a lot of the older cosmetologists were using were outdated. And because the chemistry of everything has changed. I tell people, when I first started doing hair, they didn't have black color for people of color. Even the hair color has changed, and even that's changed even some more. The technical chemistry of all of the different products that we use has changed. Back in the day, they had lye relaxers, and that was all they had, and they really did. They were very powerful relaxers, and they learned how to put buffers in them. They learned how to do timing. They learned how to do all the experimentations that it takes to find out what makes this thing work for you or against you. And so in that made us really have to keep up, with the dynamics of everything that changed in the industry. And, one of the biggest things I like to try to warn people about is everything that feels good ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
We have this thing where, like, we know as professionals, anything that has silicone in it, they push it, because they're not going to push it to us. They're going to push it to the general public. And I try to warn people about silicone. Silicone was the ingredient that they used to use in breast implants. And people don't realize, when you take a product and it says it has silicone in it, yes, when you use it, the hair feels really, really good, because silicone molecules actually go into the hair shaft. They fill it up, they silk it out, But what you don't know is it's the same thing that happened with the breast implants. Once it dries, the cuticle is exploded. It can't go back into shape. And now you have more damaged hair than you had before. And so once it dries, it hardens, then it cracks. And so the more you use it, you actually get a buildup. The end result of that is you're still going to end up losing your hair,
So
and
what
that's why
what product is that found in? I'm sorry, what product is that found in, the silicone?
you can find silicone in a lot of the shampoos, a lot of the conditioners, a lot of the products that they're pushing like on media platforms. You can find them. So when you see a product on, they have to list it, but most of the time, if it has silicone, it's on the front of the product. And so you have to really look at what it is that you're putting on your hair. Another thing, they had this one moisturizer everybody was using, and they were like, well, it makes my hair feel soft when I use it, but I can't keep my hair under control, so I keep using more and more. And I started teaching people this. When you buy any hair product, look at the ingredients. If one of the first 4 ingredients in that product says alcohol, leave that on the shelf. That's not something because yes, it's going to soften, it's going to feel good for a moment, but the end result is you're going to have hair that's dry, it's chemically burned. You may as well use a relaxer for even some of the products they call moisturizers. And so it's very important that we start really paying attention to the products that we use, and then pay attention to how we use them. I've started a lot of my clients on a regimen, and I tell them, when you put your first shampoo on, leave it on for 5 minutes. Most people, the whole shampooing process for them, they rush through it really fast, and it didn't give the product a chance to work. So they still end up with residue on their scalp, residue on their hair that actually makes their hair less manageable. And then you end up blow drying or drying the dirt and the product into the hair.
So you're supposed to lather it within the 5 minutes, or just let it sit? Because most people let conditioner sit in their hair, but I haven't heard of shampoo just letting it sit in your hair.
If you want your hair to be really clean, you need that shampoo to sit in there for 5 minutes. That first shampoo should sit in there for 5 minutes. It's going to pull all the dirt, all the debris, everything out of the scalp, everything out of the hair. See, people don't understand the chemical makeup of shampoo. Shampoo has a head and a tail. The head goes in and it grabs, and the tail pulls. And so if you don't give it the full amount of time to work its total process, you actually end up doing more harm to your hair than good. And that leads me also to the conditioning phase of our hair. When we condition our hair, sometimes we can use the wrong kind of conditioner. It's too heavy. It has too much oil base in it, and then the hair becomes heavy and drab. And people don't realize all the different kinds of shampoos that we have available to us. You have the daily shampoo, you have the conditioning shampoo, you have the stripping shampoos, the deep cleansers. They call them deep cleansers or clarifiers. And you got to know when to use these products, how to use these products, because if you don't, for a person that has really thin hair or somebody who already has dry hair, they should never have a clarifier. A clarifier should never be used on that kind of hair. The reason being is because it's going to strip.
Right. So I think part of the problem is people don't know, including myself, what type of hair they have. Like, they don't know if it's dry, if it's whatever. Like, first of all, what are the different types of hair textures or categories?
Okay, so everybody wants to go into all of this 4C, 3C stuff. We're going to keep it basic. You either have a flat cell hair, a round cell hair, or oval cell hair. Those are the three. The difference. The flat cell is mostly found in Caucasian hair or people with soft hair.
Okay.
The round scale is usually found in people who have kinky or curly hair. The oval shape is like the mix of people who have like a deep curl. And people really want to focus on all of these 4Cs and all of this, and that's fine. But what you really want to understand is, what kind of hair do I have? Do I have porous hair, non-porous hair? Do I have resistant hair? Because those are the things that's really going to make a difference. Because you can have 4C hair, but you still got to know, is your hair dry? What's going to make a difference? What do I need to find out about my hair to make my hair balanced? Because once your hair becomes balanced, as far as from one spectrum of, we have the acid and the alkaline spectrum. We always want to be more closer to the alkaline side of it versus the acid side. And so if we're too far into the acid side, we need to at least get to the midpoint where we're at ground zero, and then start moving backwards.
So how do we find that out? Like, how do we figure that alkaline, and like, how can a person even know what type of hair they have, or know that they need to be at ground zero?
Okay, so if your hair is dry and unruly, you already know you're too far into the acid side. Okay. If your hair is dry and you have to use mega products, most people, you shouldn't have to use a lot of products to see the actual balance of your hair. You should be able to wet your hair and see what you're working with. If you can put some water on your hair and your hair curls up, you don't have any product. Your hair just curls. Your hair 9 times out of 10 is in a good balanced place. If you put water on your hair and it beads off, that's a complete indicator that your cuticles are completely shut down.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, and so water should not bead off the hair. Water should actually be able to absorb. So if you just take your hair and spray it, hold it up, spray it, and if the water runs off of your hair instead of collecting, you already know you're imbalanced. And see, those are the types of things that I guess one of the things that I find that's really bad is that people go so far in the opposite direction. It's like it's overkill. And see that overkill comes because we have, one of the things that they found out was that Black people use a lot of products on their hair. And so it's a $41 billion industry per year. And so when you start talking about billions of dollars that people are using just for hair products, just for hair care and things like that, everybody wants to get in on that. Everybody wants to exploit it. And so most of the large manufacturers of hair care products, they are not us. The few companies that we had, Carson's and different things like that, they sold out. And so like a lot of stuff that we have, we have to be very careful. We have to be very, very careful about what we put on. Learn how to use, how to read your ingredients. Learn how to read your hair. And sometimes I tell people, if you don't do anything else, go to a professional and let them wash and blow dry your hair. Most people only charge $25 or $30 for that. At least by the time you go through that process, you will have an idea of what works for your hair and what doesn't. And that's where people make their mistakes. They'll go, and every time a commercial comes on, oh, I look like I can use that for my hair. I think I can get that. And so we end up with cabinets full of products that we tried on our hair, and either it didn't work and do what it said it was going to do, or it made our hair worse than what it was when we started out.
Well, Adraine, I want to play a little devil's advocate, because a lot of hairdressers now are requesting that their customers come with their hair already washed.
If they're a licensed cosmetologist and they're requesting that you come to get your hair done, already washed, it's illegal. That is illegal. We are supposed to service you from beginning to end. How can I properly diagnose your hair and your hair needs if I can't wash your hair? The whole diagnostic process of diagnosing somebody's hair happens at the shampoo bowl. We start out, we do our first consult. The first part of our consultation is in the chair. We open your hair up, make sure that there's no scarring, there's no bleeding in your scalp. See if you have dry scalp, see if you have dandruff. People don't know the difference between dry scalp and dandruff. See what issues you're dealing with. So if I ask you to come into my salon and your hair is already washed, how is it possible that I could do a proper diagnostic on your hair? That's part of why you go to a professional, so they can do a diagnostic. That's what we're trained for, to diagnose what's going on with your hair. And I've had situations where I literally opened up people's hair, their hair, and told them, go to the emergency room. Yes, I've had in 30 years, I've seen everything. I had a client back in the day when they used to wear the French rolls. I had a client had the French roll in with the hairspray, and she was literally using an ink pen to scratch her scalp while she was at work. She ended up with ink poisoning to the degree where by the time I opened her hair up, it was white flesh. All the nerves and everything were eaten out of her. She couldn't feel it no more. After a while, she just stopped scratching because you literally, it's dead. You have ink poisoning. You poisoned your skin scratching your head with an ink pen. I had another client who had, again, bobby pins laying on the scalp. You take the bobby pin off and you literally pull their scalp up with it. So when I say I've seen all kinds of issues that people have had with their hair, that literally the one lady that had the ink poisoning, they told her if she hadn't come to the hospital when she came, she wouldn't have made it through the week. She literally had blood poisoning by then. Yes, she had poisoned her bloodstream. And so that happens too when people have pin-ups and they have those bobby pins. You can actually get a metal contact and literally poison your skin with that open flesh under that bobby pin. So when I say that there is a lot that we need to know about hair and about how to take care of our hair and all of the different ploys and plots that are used for us. You know, I am a person who, I'm an advocate for protective styles. But I'm also an advocate to, if you're going to tell somebody to go into a protective style, tell them how to do it. Tell them how to go in, you know, come out of that, give your hair a rest, give your scalp a rest. Because see, the other part that people don't understand about their hair is everybody's head has the ability to carry so much weight. When you start carrying long, heavy hair and it's not positioned properly, it's just like somebody just taking a piece of your hair and continuously pulling it like this all day long. After a while, you don't feel it anymore, but when you get ready to take it down, you got a sink full of hair. Because you got the natural shedding, plus you got this extra weight. So over time, these people's hair gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So protective styles are supposed to be alternating. Okay. Because see, when you braid hair, cuticles stand up like this. This is how cuticles stand up. When you braid hair, especially if the hair gets wet, your cuticles close up like this. And then they stack on top of each other. So this is how we get to a place where we have dry hair. They're literally closed up and stacked up on top of each other in the braid situation. So the cuticle never opens back up. So for somebody who's constantly wearing braids, say 6 months to a year, by the time that person comes out, that's how they have that gray cast, because nothing has come into the hair shaft and nothing has gone out of it. They've washed over it, but they've not washed the hair. So that's when you go into your deep penetrations. That's when you go into your when you shampoo, you're shampooing with, that 5 minutes. That's
Right.
going to, with that cap on, that's going to give you the opportunity for that hair, the cuticles to start opening back up.
Right.
I just recently had a client who came back from college, and I think this is very important because you need to know the water. And this is how you, if you're away at college and you look at the faucets and they have a buildup of minerals, then those minerals are going on your hair. So when she first came in, she wanted, and it coats, and we have products that will take it out, but it coats. And so when she came in, she said, I want my hair colored. So I went in and I did a test strand, and I told her, I said, you can't get your hair colored. I said, we got to do treatments before you can get your hair colored. I said, you see this gray cast on your hair? I said, these are hard, this is from hard water buildup. This is the salt and the sulfur and all the different things that are inside of the water. And I let her know, I said, before we can do anything else, we got to get this off of your hair, and that's something that a lot of our students, when they go away to like these small towns or go to colleges, they need to really understand, because you're talking about 4 years, 2 to 4 years in these harsh circumstances.
Right. Right.
And at that age, your body is still developing. And a lot of times people develop hair problems while they're in college. And it's not because they are stressed out. It's because of the water, the content of the water that they're using. And so that's so important when we start teaching people about, okay, so now you got some hard water, you're in a situation where you got hard water. What do I do? What do I do to get these metals out of my hair? And a lot of times it can be simple stuff like getting yourself some aloe vera gel, and getting yourself some lemon juice and mixing that together and pulling that out. And some people, they don't know about it, but I'm a big advocate for like neem pulls the toxins out of the body, so you can use it on your hair. And just mix it up with your shampoo. Just get you some neem, mix it with your shampoo. It will make all the difference in the world, as far as how you can really make a difference in what your hair is going to do and what it's not going to do. And even sometimes when they're in those situations, one of the other things that I tell them to do, make sure you get some coconut oil or some olive oil or something, so that you will have a protective layer between yourself and that hard water. And so it's the simple things that we can do for ourselves that can change a lot of things.
Right. Now, I know on our last week when we were doing like a precursor for our interview, you spoke of these, what do we want to call them, hair regimens on YouTube. And I wanted you to share with the audience what you told me about those.
So I saw this one hair regimen that they were putting on YouTube, and they were telling people to get the apple cider vinegar and baking soda and mix that together. And so I said, now I know, like, I use baking soda for cancer patients, but if you have an underlying fungus in your hair, what they don't tell you is that mixture literally draws it's a puller, it pulls. And so to use both of them at the same time, you literally could end up with the fungus surfacing on your scalp and literally taking your hair out. And people do not, I'm talking about clean down to, because you got a fungus there that you actually, instead of dealing with it, they don't tell you, like, okay, once you use this product, you got to go back in and wash your hair again. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about literally get yourself like and I'm a big advocate for Aveeno shampoo. I'm a big advocate for that because it's mild and it cleanses well. and I'm a big advocate for people who will make their own shampoo also. But if you leave that on your hair, we use that as a detoxer to pull things out of, but you have to go behind it and do the right thing, or you literally could end up, and you're not going to know that you have a fungus until you make the wrong move. And literally you'll end up with a bald spot. The first thing will happen is the virus will come up to the scalp, and then you'll start feeling pustules, because now you've pulled this thing up, and either it'll crust over and it'll get hard. But once you get to that stage, the damage is done. You pretty much know that your hair is going to fall out. And so a lot of people are going through these things, doing these detoxing, and not really realizing, how do you follow this up? What do I do? Now that I've pulled all of this stuff out of my scalp, what do I do to replenish my scalp? What do I put on here? And see, that's where they miss the mark. They're not professionals. They don't know anything about chemistry. So they'll tell you these things, and what may work for one person may be deadly for another.
Oh my. So what about rice water? Like I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about rice water helping grow your hair to a long length, and how it's been used by our ancestors and things of that sort. What are your thoughts or your expertise on that?
And see, that's really real, but here's the trick to that. What kind of rice you using? Because if you're using bleached and processed rice that has gone through a process where it has absolutely no nutritional value at all. And so when you see a bag of rice that says enriched, you might as well just go go in the yard and get the water hose. It's the same difference. You ain't doing nothing. See, that rice that the ancestors used, it didn't go through no processing plant. They grew that rice themselves. They boil that rice themselves. They put that water. So yes, because see, you got to remember the chemical makeup of rice has niacin in it. And so yes, your hair will grow, and it's not going to dry. It's not going to dry out. It's going to have the nutrients. So yes, it's a big bang. Get on the rice water thing and all of this. But go get you some of that real expensive jasmine rice. Boil that up. Use that. Soak that. I can't say no names of but if you see enriched rice, run. Because it has no value at all. Really and truly, if you get some rice and boil it, some of this enriched rice, you boil it up. If you don't put nothing on it, it ain't got no flavor or nothing.
That's
so
true.
What value could this possibly give you? None. So I'm a big advocate for rice water. And especially if you have enough sense to use some brown rice, some rice that has not been bothered, then yes, you're in excellent shape. But just getting some of that old off the shelf, no.
Okay.
You ain't doing yourself no justice.
This episode is sponsored by Betterhelp. People often think anxiety looks one way, but it has many faces and many emotions that sometimes can be overwhelming and daunting. I know about this feeling all too well, because at a point I felt powerless to my emotions, almost to the point of drowning in them. So I decided to seek out a therapist to later learn that I have generalized anxiety disorder. If you have been experiencing the same feeling, please know that BetterHelp is here to help. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. You have the option of talking with a therapist in a private, online environment at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in under 48 hours. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you will schedule secure video and phone sessions, Plus, you get to exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. Thanks to therapy, I learned the tools that I needed to conquer my anxiety and over obsessive thinking. I did it afraid, and I took that leap to talk with someone, to later learn that it was going to be okay and that I was going to be okay. Please know that you can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced Betterhelp therapist. And better yet, get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/BYOK. That's betterhelp.com/BYOK because you deserve it.
And so another thing, like, people don't realize, like, some of the natural things that you can use on your hair. You can get yourself some, if you really want your hair, say you got issues with dry scalp or dandruff, boil you some clove. Boil you some clove.
Like cinnamon clove?
No, it's clove. CLOVE, just regular clove.
Okay.
It's in the spice aisle in most places. But you get you some whole clove. You boil it for about, because clove is, because it's very, very potent. You just get you some clove and you boil like maybe 8 ounces. You're going to boil it down to about 4 ounces. Let that cool. Rinse your hair with that. Believe me when I tell you, all of that itching, dry scalp, that's going to stop. And see, when people are scratching their hair, they're actually doing damage to their hair, the cuticle and the vulva. So, that constant scratching, that's how you get the alopecia areata and all that stuff. So when we start going back to the natural stuff that we used to use when we were coming up, it would make all the difference. We didn't have any. Now we may have had some children with short hair, but they had short, thick hair back in the day, and basically we didn't have bald spots and different things like that. Not until the late 90s did we start seeing women, their edges were gone, bald spots in the top, and so that came from medication and diet. And stress levels. We used to, I used to joke and tell my children how there really used to be 9 to 5. Now you might work a 12-hour shift, 16-hour shift, and your body doesn't have time to recover. It's so much demand on the body. And so when we start looking at those type of things, we realize that life is not the same. So you can't keep treating the body the same as you did when your stress levels weren't as high as they are.
Right.
You can't. You're more depleted, and we are oftentimes working from a position of total depletion, and we expect the body to react the way it normally would. It's not.
Right.
Because we're chemically imbalanced, and so, I want to touch on even the protective styling. I want to touch on that because I really need people to understand. So just like I was saying in the beginning, you plan out your styling. You plan out your rest period inside of your schedule. You also have to plan out your rest schedule inside of your hair regimen.
So what does that look like?
So this is what that looks like. So I've been in braids for 4 months, right? So now I need to go and make sure that I get a protein treatment. I need to make sure that my hair is completely cleansed. I need to make sure that my scalp gets oxidation. So this is what I do. I pull my clients out of it and I condition their hair for 4 weeks. I don't care what else happens. We're going to condition this hair for 4 weeks. And they have all of these different options where, you can put your hair up in a ponytail and you can make yourself, with the braiding hair, you can make yourself some styles. or you can get a clip-on ponytail that you can still go to work, look beautiful, the whole 9 yards. But when you go home, you take that joker off, and you let your hair breathe, and those are your vacation times. We're not doing braids. We're literally just deep conditioning, blow drying, and putting that hair up, because that way we get a chance to give that hair a chance not to be locked down in a braid. We give our scalp a chance to get some air. And the other thing that we get to do is we get to treat the scalp and the hair, over that month's time. So even if you do go back in, when you come out, your hair is healthy. Your hair is not, you haven't gone through this whole bridge of unhealthy. And then the other part is, we have to embrace our natural curl. We have to embrace it. Like today, my hair is just up in a bun. It's just pinned up, and I know that I'm good. All I have to do is just put some oil on it, go on about my business. If I want to jazz this up, I can. I can make a bump and do I can do that. And we have that option. And now in our culture, it's way more acceptable than it was once upon a time.
Right.
And this is really something I have to stress, because as Black people, as Black women, we were told that, and even some of our own make fun of us, and they say, well, you're just trying to be white, or you don't like your identity, and different things like that. But I'm a girl, I'm 54, proud of it, praise the Lord. But I remember Black women literally standing on courthouse steps in the 70s. I was 10, watching these Black women standing on the courthouse steps because they lost their jobs, because they were wearing an afro to work, or they were wearing braids to work. It still hurts my soul to this day, watching our women having to fight just to be us.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ask for this transition. We were forced into it, to a point where even 5 years ago, I'm in the salon, and my client, she has locks, and she works in the food industry. And they told her either she's going to get those things out of her head, or she was fired. She worked downtown, one of those really big industry, type situations.
Mm-hmm.
And they told her, if you don't get that out of your head, you're fired. And she was very hurt. And I literally had to tell her, sweetie, that's why they make wigs. Mm-hmm. You work your job for 8 hours, and you braid this hair down, put that stocking cap on, slide that wig on, put your chef hat on, roll on about your business.
But because I hate that's even an option that you even have to do that, though. That you just can't.
But we do.
Yeah.
We do. And so these are the types of things that we're dealing with. These are the types of things that, no matter which way we go as Black women, we seem like we catch it, because people don't really realize when we're in these big offices, when we're in these meetings with these people, they expect us, whether they're Black or white or whatever color, they expect us to have a certain image. They don't really want you to come up in there with no cornrows going to the back. You're not going to be well received or taken seriously. And so those are the dilemmas. And so it hurt my soul to hear our people making fun of and putting down each other because we chose to do certain things with our hair.
Yeah.
We did them because it was a necessity.
Right.
We needed to work. We needed to, take care of our families. You know what I'm saying? And so the standard was always such a marked difference. I came up in a time where people used to wear spikes. The other people used to wear spikes, and they would be blue and purple. Nobody said a word. But if a Black woman had come in with French braids in her hair or an afro, she was going to be taken into the office or fired.
That's true. But I don't know if you've noticed now, Black women are incorporating more color, like different colors in their hair besides the regular blonde and the red. People like wearing
Mm-hmm.
random purples and pinks and blues. You know, it's
Yes.
being more acceptable, which I love. You know.
Yeah. And we do, because the thing about it is, like, a lot of people don't know this, the hair color industry was not targeted towards us until the late 80s, early 90s. They didn't have color that would really work with our hair. You see, color has a certain chemistry to it. And so if you don't have the right kind of color, that's why you had so many African Americans that were running around with orange hair, because they never put into the calculation that we have hidden red. And so hidden red in our hair, it makes it very hard to bring that hair up if you're not using the proper product. And so they had to learn how to deal with that. And so they came up with different chemistries and different things that would, eliminate that red, that hidden red that was in our hair, and not damage it. And even when we speak of color, anybody with a license can do color. There's two things that people need to know about color. First of all, color is more dangerous than relaxer. Color can actually kill you. When they tell you to put that drop behind your ear or in the middle of your forearm, it's for a reason. Because if you have an allergic reaction to color and you put it on your hair, and this is for people that do color at home, you could actually suffocate to death. You could have a allergic reaction to the product, to so severe that you could die. I've never heard anybody dying of a relaxer, but I have heard of people dying from hair color. This is something we need to be, and because so many people are trying all of these different colors and things, you better know what you're allergic to. You get the product, it's fine. Get whatever product you're going to get. Do that patch test. Do that patch test on your skin. Do that patch test on a strand of your hair. See what you have to do. Do you have to dial that back, or do you need to boost that up? Because you could end up dead or bald for the rest of it. Because I've seen in my years, I've seen people put color on their hair and it started smoking. Got them to the bowl. Yes. Got them to the bowl and literally washed their hair off of their head. There's a chemical reaction because some people have a body chemistry that cannot take hair color. Literally sitting there with the hair color and smoke is coming off of the lady's head.
That's crazy.
And yes, literally had to hurry up and wash it out. And that's why, see, with us, we're going to do the patch test. We're going to do it. And the reason for it is because if I go in front of a judge already knows that I'm educated to this. A judge already knows that I already know the chemical makeup of and we have to know the chemical makeup of every hair color product on the market. And so if I choose to use something on somebody's hair, and I'm not knocking Color Charm. Color Charm is the bomb if you know how to use it. That's straight up color.
Right.
That's straight up color. I mean, that's the mother of color. That was the color that was back in the day. Didn't nobody else have color but Color Charm. But if you don't know how to use that, that's one of those colors you'll run up on, and she's straight with it. Like a lot of the colors, they have what we call buffers in them. Clairol gonna bring it. She bringing it to the table, dessert, the meat, the whole 5-course meal. If you don't know what you're doing, messing with that, you could literally be sitting somewhere washing your hair down the drain.
Oh my!
So those, that's something that we need to know. Hair color is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous.
And I know that I thought relaxers was the worst that can happen to you, because I see all of these colon cancer lawsuits floating online. Not
and
colon,
you know,
not colon cancer, but it's cancer. People are dying
yeah,
cancer from using these relaxers.
uterine cancer,
Yeah, uterine.
uterine cancers, and different things like that. And you know, and believe it or not, we're just in a time in the season in life where everything is just, I guess with the social media, everything is like boom. But believe it or not, this same lawsuit and this same accusation came out 20 years ago.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah. This is not the first time this has hit the fan. That's the first thing. Products they've gone in and they've changed products and different things like that. But I'll tell anybody, if you got good sense, first of all, you ain't supposed to be using relaxers on a regular basis like that anyway. My clients that do use relaxers, you know, they're on a 8 to 12 week regimen. You're only going to get a relaxer either 3 or 4 times a year. You're not going to be putting this stuff in your head every 2 months, you know, like they used to do it every 6 weeks or every 4. We're not doing that.
Right.
So one of the things that that overshadowed, but last 2 years ago, they, I don't know if you know this or not, but they did the same lawsuit with hair color. Yes. 2 years ago, they told everybody that if you color your hair, stop coloring your hair because it causes cancer. So there's not a lot in our society right now that doesn't cause cancer. I'm not trying to be funny or belittle this situation for anyone, but the reality of it is you have a 50-50 chance. That's the reality. But I know we only have a couple minutes left. And so one of the things that I really, really want to address is, what do I put on my hair?
Yes.
I want to address that. Aveeno shampoo. They have several different kinds. That's a product, if you're doing your hair at home, that's a product that I know you can't go wrong with. They have several different kinds, but your hair oil. If you have dry hair, you want to use some safflower oil. It has vitamin C in it. It's safflower. I can't say it. Safflower.
SAFFLOWER. Is that what that is?
That would be, yes, honey. That's, I'm trying to say it. I never can say it. I never can say it. You use that if you have extremely dry hair. Grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is tremendous. Now I'm gonna tell you that they have this black seed oil. Make sure you get a good one, honey. I'm talking about your hair, you thinning edges or whatever you got going on. You're gonna see that first hair come in, and this is something else we need to address. That first hair that come in, as soon as you see that hair is about 1 inch long, and folks start talking, I'm gonna style it. Leave that hair alone. The first hair falls out. That's your hair that pushed its way through. It's baby hair. It's the equivalent of baby hair. Don't go in there styling that fresh hair like it's old hair. That first batch, it's gonna fall. You need, if your hair falls out and it grows back, you got 6 months before you can really start handling that hair, because that first 2-3 months, their hair has come through, it's gonna break off. It's gonna fall off. It's gonna shed, because its only job was to break back through the skin. So we want some grapeseed oil. Even for our conditioners and things, you can get some stuff from your own house. You can get just one of those little 99-cent avocado. I mean, not avocado. I'm sorry. Avocado goes with it. But the aloe leaf, take that joker, pull it open, cut it open, about half of that. Scrape that joker out and stir it up real good with a little avocado. Put that on your hair, and your hair will be soft as butter. You can use the aloe as a straight conditioner. So if you're a person with lots of allergies and different things, just go back natural. Go back to the basics. Because if you look in your bathroom of all the products that you use on your hair, and you realize that you mean to tell me I could have got a $15 bottle of black seed oil, or $20 bottle, or a $50 bottle of black seed oil, and I could have stopped all of this that's happening with my hair? Yeah. You know, the whole thing of when we put when we put you under a dryer and people don't understand this. If you got issues going on with your scalp, you can't really get anything done without it being cleaned. People have funguses. We can smell them. That stinky smell that people have in their hair, that's an indication that they have a fungus. When you wash your hair and you know you got a fungus, get you a plastic cap, just like you do your conditioner. Put your shampoo on, wash that first one out, put that second one on, put that cap on, and leave it on there for 15 minutes. It will get all of that stuff out of your hair and off of your scalp. You treat your shampoo like you would your conditioner. Just make sure you're using a mild shampoo. That's all the importance of it. And it will get everything out of there. That stinking smell that people have, I know at some point in your life you smell like, but that's an indicator that somebody has a fungus on their scalp. So if you know that your hair is stinking, whether you're a man or a woman, especially if you are working in an industry where you wear a hard hat, you need to be detoxifying at least once a week.
Okay.
That sweat under those hats, that is a breeding ground for fungus. So you need to be doing that. Back in the day when people were wearing the curl, and the ones who would keep those caps on literally ended up in the hospital having to get their head shaved because their scalp was green, because a fungus had actually grew on their scalps. So these are just things. Keep it simple. If I had to leave the people with anything, keep it simple.
I love that. Wow, Adraine, you have I don't know, I feel like I should bring you back for a part 2, because there's so many other things I feel like that we don't know. I've learned a lot just within this hour about hair that I mean in my 40 years I didn't know, and some of the things I think I've done to thin out my hair a little bit, So what are your plans in the future? Are you planning on spreading the word? Are you planning on helping us Black women out with our Black girls, or with our own hair in the future?
Yeah. So what I'm currently working on is I'm working on 25-30. And 25-30 is basically this. You come in, I'm trying to get people to come in and get their hair washed and conditioned. So if you want to go into a braiding style, if you want your child's hair to grow back, bring them in, let them, bring them in. I want it to be, and people like, if it's too inexpensive, it ain't good. Times are too hard for us out here who are trying to strive and work. I want people to be able to come in. So yeah, I'm not only that, but I'm developing my product. I'm in with the scientists and the lawyers to develop products that we can, distribute and give out. And I need my price point. My price point for my products are going to be $15 and under. The reason being is because I know I make a good product. I've seen the results. I've had friends and family test them. I have cancer patients that have tested them, and their hair has grown back. But I know I have a good product, but I want people to be able to afford it. Yeah.
I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
Here, first of all, where can people, if they want to book an appointment with you, where can they find you?
I'm at 11638 South Pulaski in Alsip, Illinois. And they can reach me at my phone number at 773-754-2431. And they can book from there. They can come in and get a free consultation with me. Okay. Yeah. So again, they 773-754-2431, and they can catch up with me. And I work with people. I really do. I try to make sure, especially for the working mom, they have my heart, and the working fathers, because these fathers are taking care of their kids too. And we want to just make stuff available to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's my heart. That's what I do. It's all about community. It's all about the self-esteem of our children and our women and our men, just making sure they're in order. It can't all be about the money.
I love,
It's got to
yeah.
be about the people.
It can't just be about profit. What you said earlier is kind of a detriment to some of our hair because we're buying into the hype of the newest product that's out there. Because money is to be made, in this industry. Here at BYOK, we have a signature question, and that question is: if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be and why?
My one word would be love. And the reason I would use that word is because love doesn't judge. Love just accepts and moves forward. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Man, ain't nothing to say after that. I love that. Adraine, I look forward to your product, your education, whatever you got going on in the future, because this is needed. A lot of things, a lot of times people just don't know. So when you meet someone that has expertise in something, and it's like, man, just that simple, huh? Just this little oil here, this little oil there, can make a big difference. That brings hope, because as much as people try to ignore it, but hair is part of you. Hair can break your mood. It can make and break your outfit. Hair is part of you, and so you want to look nice to feel nice. So
yeah.
So
and that's why it's so important for me to give back. I don't want young ladies going to school and they don't have to. They're and be downcast and broken because of the hairstyle costs $150. I don't want that. Not only do I want you to look good, but I also want you to be able to afford it. But with my girls, that I've had over the years, when they come to me, they toe up. But when they leave me, they got full healthy heads of hair that they can do anything with. And I educate them. I educate them on products. I educate them. This is what you buy. I got clients who I've had for since they were 8. They're 30 now and 40 years old, and they still do what I say do. Because when you sit in my chair, you're not a client. You're a human being that needs help. And so that's part of how I share, because my clients actually go out and they tell their family members, don't do this, get that. And so it's not even about getting people in my chair. It's about get that knowledge out there to everybody that will listen and see the difference that it makes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And thank you so much for your time. Like I said, you got to come back. We got to learn more.
Definitely. Definitely.
And for those listening, I know you've learned something. I'm not even going to say if. I know that you've learned something. And if you are in the Chicagoland, Illinois area, go to Adraine so that she can properly diagnose your hair, and don't let people tell you that you need to wash your hair before you come in. I just found out that was illegal, so thank you for that, because I'm like, this is getting ridiculous, and they charge you full price, and you don't even get the shampoo wash, and the whole purpose of going to get your hair done is to be pampered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, thank you. Yes, that's it. This is a treat.
Right. Yes. Right. So I gotta do work before I come. Forget it. The masseuse don't be like, oh, I want you to rub yourself down before you get here. No. You come as you go, and they do their thing. So that should be the same with our hair or whatever. But yeah. So until next time, everybody. Thanks again, Adrienne, for being on our show.
You are welcome.
And members out there, please remember to be kind to yourself and to each other. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.
Affirmations monthly event. I could be out, but art and affirmations. Basically, what we are doing, we are painting and we are affirming. We got goodie bags. We got refreshments. We got painting our own little wine glasses. Hosted by our friend Mo. From local Color Art Studios. She will be hosting that. It's $12 to go. However, it's going to cover your refreshments, art supplies, and we're also going to do Sister's Closet, which I've talked about on the social media sites a little bit.
I've been seeing it.
And so basically what that is if you have something in your closet and you know you need to purchase, we all got stuff in our closet we don't need, you would donate 5 to 10 items at the event, and it's free to whoever wants it. So you're cleaning your closet, and if you don't want to pick up something in return from somebody else, you don't have to. But there was some really cool things that was at our last one.
It was.
And so I'm really excited. If you are interested in just me picking something up because you can't make the event, if you go to www.beyourownkind.com, let me just put this in here. It's a link right here where you could just set up a pickup time, and I'll pick it up the day before any of the monthly events. So
okay, cool.